So 5 years ago, my daughter stopped going to school. Anxiety had convinced her that the world wasn't safe. Yesterday, she was talking about doing a skydiving apprenticeship. So what has changed? Now, you might think I'm going to talk about strategies for managing anxiety or tools or coping mechanisms, but that's not what changed. So I'm going to give you a quick snapshot of my daughter when she was 13. Her life very quickly got quite small. All the things that before had seemed quite unremarkable, like, going swimming with friends or going to stay at someone's house or going on the school bus or going to certain lessons, just became so overwhelming until she decided that it wasn't safe. It wasn't even safe to go to school. And she would put the brakes on and she stayed at home. And now, if we move to a snapshot of her now, age 20, she's at uni and she's enjoying her life. She's got great friendships. She's a climber. She has taken up new sports. She's rowing. She's just been asked to be captain of her rowing club. And she's been solo traveling around the world, and all these things that the 13, 14, 15-year-old version of her would have said, absolutely no way on earth would I be doing any of that. It kind of seemed completely out of her reach, completely impossible. So what changed? Now, she would say to you, if you said, what changed? She would say, my mum changed. Now, there's no judgment there. We can laugh about it because actually I completely changed. She became my teacher because I got to see what I was doing. I got to see how I was using my mind. I got to see that when she was scaring herself and going off into the future and imagining, and I was doing the same thing. I got to see my own identity, my own beliefs, my own outsourcing my well-being to how life looked, to my circumstances. So, for example, I'm okay if my children are happy. And then immediately when one of them gets really anxious, I don't feel okay. And so I go into incredible fixing and trying to manage and change everything on the outside, change her. And I began to see all of it. When I stopped trying to fix her and change her, I realized what I was doing with my own frightened mind. And that's when everything changed. What if we knew that we're creating our experience? I used to think that life was happening to me, outside in. But I began to see that I'm creating my experience from moment to moment to moment. So is she. And what if our struggles are always teaching us something, showing us what perhaps has been hidden, something super valuable? When we see beyond our experience, we start to realize there's nothing to fear in the experience itself. And we start to recognize this space of presence, space of being. I never used to recognize that. I never used to know that's me, beyond my experience, beyond what I create. And I began to recognize it in my daughter. And the more she would touch that space, the more she would stop fearing her experience. And life got easier. And it doesn't mean that, we don't create and we don't experience life. We absolutely do. So, for example, she's going on this rowing camp in a couple of weeks and she doesn't know a single person going. And she doesn't know the level of fitness that's required. She doesn't know what's expected of her. And if she's tired or if she's, she might start creating. She might have some thinking around it. She might start to fill the vacuum of uncertainty with, stories. But that doesn't mean put the brakes on like it used to. She no longer fears what she creates. And the more I've shared this understanding, the more I've seen that the same possibility exists for every one of us. And that's why I'm starting this channel.